Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Wilka here, aka Showstopper, back with yet another exciting video. So today's video is going to be something different, like what I did the previous week, where I'm just going to interview somebody that's very close and very dear to my heart, so y'all can meet Tom. So yeah, she's called Tom, I'm called Jerry, because we used to argue a lot, but now we're like friends and close, and so yeah, I've seen her story and it really touched me and inspired me, but it's something that I can't relate to, but I think some of you can relate to. So just before we start, just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dealbreakers, and me and Walker have been working together for like 3 years or 2 years.
Basically,
It's weird. First time ever being recorded. Very weird for me, but okay, I'm trying it out.
So my first question to her is gonna be like, what does relationships mean to you?
Wow.
Like, do you just explore, like just date anybody?
Oh,
And
like
do you
that.
just, like, what does it mean to you?
Oh.
Is it deep, or is it just like, let me just get to know people? Or you're very serious about it, like you don't change?
Yeah, I think maybe like when I was like 20 or 21 or whatever, I didn't really like think about it too much, like what it meant.
Yeah.
But now it's a whole different ballgame. Now it's, you think of 20,000 things, like, are we compatible? Do we share the same values? Can you speak my love language? Are you open to trying? Do we want the same things in life? Are you saved? Is that important to you? And I think like a lot of people disregard it. I was telling somebody that like it's so difficult to date today because there's so many things you need to consider.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess to me relationships are, it's a big deal. I'm not willing to just
Date.
like, yeah, just because I want to get to know you and I want to find out like what type of person you are, like what's your values in life. It sounds cliche, but it's important.
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of people should consider that. You should have those conversations. Like, I want you to tell me what you want out of life, so I can tell you what I want. And it's basically like you need to ask yourself, am I willing to do this for the rest of my life with this person? Am I willing to support you in your dreams, in your aspirations? Are you willing to support me? Are we on the same wavelength? Where are we going? So I think, yeah, relationships are important to me. I don't want to say too serious. Because like I feel like if you're not going to make me laugh every day, I don't know like why we should
Why
be together. I don't think it would be worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I know I'm gonna ask you this story now, because last year was I think it was a dramatic year for you. But at the same time, you found like security in yourself.
Yeah.
You became strong and all that. Guys. So this girl, she used to attack me because I didn't date. Because I didn't date before, like not in a bad way, because I couldn't relate to. So she would be going over this guy that she's been dating for such a long time, and they broke up, which is very sad. For me, it was very shocking, but I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So she would, like let's say we talk about something, or somebody gets roses, or I mentioned that somebody maybe got something from the boyfriend, and then she would start crying, and I'm just like, but it's not that deep, and then she would be crying. And then I'll be like, you'll get over it. Then I'll be like, you'll get over it. And then she's like, have you ever been in a theater? And I'm like, but I can't relate,
Yeah.
But it's true though, I couldn't relate. So I was just like, just get over the guy. Why are you crying about it? Like, but I want to know from her, how long does it take to get over somebody?
Wow.
And like, how do you deal with the breakup? How do you make it easier for yourself, Don't you guys want to know? Some of you broke up with people and you can't get over them, and you're stalking them and whatnot. How did you get over it?
Wow, that's
And
a very difficult,
how was
very
it
difficult
season
question.
in your life? Like, did you think you're gonna marry this guy and all of a sudden it just changed, or what exactly happened?
Yeah, so I was in a relationship and a for since 2017. In the beginning of 2019, I came to a place in my life where I felt like I'd given so much of myself to the people in my life that there was nothing left of me at the end of the day. So I was like, 2019 is the year I choose me, right? And then July 2019, me and my ex-boyfriend had a conversation, and we basically came to a point where we were like reassessing our relationship, I would say, or boundaries and stuff. Because I felt like we'd both grown since the start of our relationship. And then we realized that there were deal breakers that we were technically ignoring. So we broke up. And that was like probably one of the most difficult things I've ever dealt with in my life. Which is probably why I'm at a stage now where I feel like I'm not playing around, because I don't want to go through a breakup again. I don't know how long it takes. I think it depends for different people, because people also heal differently. For me, the first 5 months, I think, like literally the last 5 months of last year were terrible. Like literally terrible. I cried for days. And it's just like, but I think also there's a meme that says that a girl leaves a relationship emotionally long before she leaves physically. And I actually think this is true, because I reached a point where I was the person that was going to get married when I'm 25. Just by the way, I'm 25 and I'm not married. So clearly that doesn't work. But yeah, I was like, I was going to get married and have kids, and I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I got to a stage, something changed for me, and from that point, I didn't even want to hear about getting married. I was like, what? No, why would I get married? Why would I don't even know if I want this anymore. But that was just because of the relationship that I was in, or how I was feeling at that stage. I think for me, my healing process, if I'm honest, I would say a full year. When we were broken up for a year, I was finally at a place where I was like, okay, I'm good now. I'm really good now. And it was the complete opposite for him. But it's a very, very, very difficult process. But the healing afterwards is worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're afraid always to, you don't want to go out of the relationship, because first of all, nobody wants to be alone. Or that's what I think. I don't know, she's never, like, she doesn't date, so I don't know.
I also don't want to be alone.
So I think like for a long time you're just like there, and you're like, I don't want to be alone. I'm scared. And I told myself things like, I know he's a good person. Like, I know he's a good person. I know he has a good heart. I know he'll be a great father to his kids. But does that mean that we work together? No. Does that mean that you should stay? No. Because you need to be happy at the end of the day. And I think we're scared 90% of the time. I was for a really long time. But it's worth it. I think it's worth it. It was worth it for me.
So you're just crying, but were you stalking him?
So, no.
No.
Yes and no. I don't even know.
The first stage is
the first stages were, the first month I cried probably every day. It was so bad, you guys. I was at work. I had to go to the bathroom and cry and come back. I don't even know what the people at the office were thinking. Because my eyes would be red like the whole day. There were like nights I would cry myself to sleep. It was so bad. But then I think like what worked for me was I allowed myself to feel every single emotion. Because also in the first few months you doubt your decision so much. In the moment you make the decision, you're so sure of it. And then a month later it literally feels like physical pain, that emotional pain you go through. That it's just like, was it the right decision? Should I take him back? No. Like, is it going to be worth it? And we decided, I think a few weeks after we broke up, to block each other on social media. It sounds really bad. But we decided it together because it was just a thing, like, sometimes you post memes, right? But now this person that you've basically hurt, because obviously both of you are hurt because of the breakup, the person might take it the wrong way. So it's just like, sometimes I was like, but why would you post something like that? Was I that bad?
Yeah.
But then it like, he probably didn't even do it with that intention at all. So we like just decided it was better to not see what the other person is doing on social media. And I think that was the best decision for us. So no, I didn't stalk him because we blocked each other. Like, we don't view each other's statuses, we don't see anything on Instagram, Facebook, nothing. And that's basically it. I think it's better that way. We still don't follow each other.
But why did you just break up though?
Why did we
Is it
break?
that you felt like, okay, if it's cheating and stuff, you don't have to reveal it. But if you feel like it's not the one for you, or the relationship wasn't, the vibe wasn't there anymore, or what exactly happened?
When we started dating, I wasn't where I wanted to be spiritually, I think would be the right word. So in my mind always I was like, I'm gonna marry somebody that's saved because I'm saved, and like, how would we raise kids if you're not saved? I know people think like it's not a big deal, but to me it is. Like, we can't argue about basic morals, because I feel like, yeah, but anyway, let's not get into that. But yeah, so for a long time I felt like it was unfair of me to expect him to be there spiritually, just because I wasn't. I was really struggling in my relationship with God for a lot of reasons. So I just felt like it was unfair in a sense. So yeah, like, we broke up because I don't think we were compatible.
First of all, he wasn't saved, and there was a deal breaker for you.
Yes, he wasn't saved, and I just want to say, like, from this point on, that I have no harsh feelings towards him as a person. He's also not like a bad person.
Yeah.
We just obviously didn't work out, so I don't want anybody to think like I'm saying anything bad about him, first of all. But yeah, we broke up because they were deal breakers, and deal breakers are there for a reason, and you can choose to ignore it, but 3 years later you're gonna sit with the same deal breaker. And I feel like after the first year that we were dating, there were a few things, you know, that you pick up on, and you're like, okay, what's what, but then you like fall in love, right? I don't know why I did that. But yeah, you fall in love, and it's like you choose to ignore those things. You choose to ignore the things that are actually important to you, and then 3 years later you're like, okay, but wait, let's talk about this. But this was something I knew within the first year that we were dating. So I think on that part, I don't even know like what I should have done differently.
So you expected him to change?
I think so. I think I expected him to change. I also think who we were when we started dating wasn't who we were 3 years later. Because obviously we're in our early 20s, where you're kind of busy discovering yourself and who you are as a person. And I think the biggest mistake that I made was thinking that he was going to change, you know, that he was eventually going to get to the place where I wanted him to be, which was unfair of me, because that's not how I found him. So I think like it's an unfair thing to expect somebody to change when you make them a certain way.
Yeah.
Like if somebody coffee black and you were like, can you please throw milk in your coffee? But it's not how they drink their coffee. It's kind of like that. So I think it's unrealistic. So I think we broke up because we didn't want the same things out of life. And I also don't think in the same timeline period we didn't want the same thing. I mean, obviously the deal breakers that I will choose not to disclose that were there, and it was just like, okay, I'm not willing to like continue to compromise on this thing. Because of what I want to stand for and who I want to be, evidently.
So you just reached that point where you're like, you know, I'm tired of pretending this is gonna change, and we're just gonna let this go. Like, do you regret actually leaving the relationship even?
No. So for the 3 years that we were dating, I never prayed and asked God, like, is this my person? Because I think like subconsciously I knew what the answer was. So I never ever prayed about it. And then literally 2019, choosing myself, I came to a place where I was like really starting to talk to God about important things in my life. So I started and I prayed about it. I was like, I need to know now. Like, I'm ready to hear the answer, because I wasn't ready to hear the answer for a long time. And the night we had the conversation, when he was telling me something, we were talking about the Dealbreakers thing, right? And it was like, I knew in that moment that God was saying, it's not him. Like, it's not him. And I think evidently we decided, we were like, well, neither of us are willing to compromise anymore, and it's not working, because we were both very unhappy at that stage. Because you stay in this relationship where I think you both know it's not working, but you love the person and you've become so committed. There's so many things you consider, like your families, you've met the families, you get along with them well. It's like, nobody wants to start from scratch. I literally need to tell somebody now what I like, and this person already knows this at this stage. So there's so many things that you face in that decision, but ultimately you're just like, what? Like, basically you're like, no, you know what the right decision is. You know in that moment this isn't gonna work anymore, but it's very difficult. I actually think it's brave to do it, to actually make the decision and do it. I'm very thankful for the fact that it was a mutual decision. We both sat down, we had a conversation, and we both decided that this was it. That also gave me a lot of comfort in the months after that, because we didn't have this big fight and explode at each other and decided, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. We had a conversation, we discussed things, and we realized that this wasn't working. We weren't happy anymore. And sometimes two good people are just not good together. He's a great person and I would like to think I'm okay, but we just sometimes it just doesn't work.
So why do you think people stick around, even knowing that this person is not for me, but I just don't want to start over and all that?
I think we're scared. You're scared of the unknown. You're scared of being alone. You're scared that you're not going to find somebody better. Because I reached a stage where it was like, but I know, there's certain things I know about this guy. I know he's a good person. I know that this is his morals, and this. And it's like, am I willing to take the risk of walking away from what I know to literally anything? Because that's what it is. Because you don't know if you're going to find somebody. And I just felt like we owed it to ourselves to try, at least. I remember in the beginning we were like, we'll get back together, this doesn't work out. But I also think that's just one of the things you tell yourself so that you can sleep at
but
night.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think people stick around in situations like that because they think they're not going to get better. They think that there's no way that they will be happy alone. And you're scared to start from scratch. You're scared to be vulnerable again, because now you need to open up yourself again, and terrified of getting hurt again, because that's one of my biggest things. Even now I'm scared, I'm terrified that I'm going to get hurt again. I'm terrified that I'm going to have to go through it again. So I think those are the things that make you stay. But I also think, in my opinion, if I hadn't gotten to a place with God where I wanted to know more, where I wanted to grow in my relationship with God, I don't think I would be able to sit here year later and be okay and be willing at that stage to walk out of the relationship at all, because I just think I just feel like you're doing yourself harm by denying God's love, basically.
I know it looks like, this relationship didn't work out, it's been 3 years, but at least now you've experienced, you know what you don't want and what you're not willing
That's true.
To settle for,
Yeah.
And that doesn't take the so are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, do you want this thing or
Yeah.
some things need to be there already. So at least I think that is
Yeah. I also think like we focus a lot on the world's view. So it's like you're almost 30 and you're not married yet, or you need to have children by a certain age, or after you've studied and you have a good job, the next automatic thing is that you should get married based on the world's perception, I guess. So yeah, experience, yes. I think I'd be better at it now. I hope so. But yeah, I think like when you're going through the pain, it's just like,
You don't see
I don't
life
think it was worth the experience to do this. But yeah, I am grateful for going through it, because now I know so much more to relationships, and also know like what to do better, I guess, and also what I want and what I don't want. And that's important. Yeah, it just sucks that you have to go through all of that to get to that answer, I guess.
After saying that, a relationship's fun though.
Yes.
And it's fun.
Oh my god, I just want to say that like the falling in love stage is epic.
Apparently.
It's very awesome. Like I feel like if you're not gonna enjoy that, I don't know how you're gonna get through the not fun times. I think it's literally a thing of like getting to know, like adapting your life to that person's life type of thing.
Yeah.
I do think what I've learned is that communication is like the key thing in a relationship. Like if you can't communicate with me and play open cards, then I don't know like what we're doing. But relationships are a lot of fun. It's obvious, it's awesome, and everybody wants to belong to someone, or you know, like, or feel like there's somebody that cares, there's somebody that's wondering are you okay, there's somebody that's gonna message you, there's somebody you can call and be like, you wouldn't believe what happened at work today, or I can't deal with what my brother just did, or my friend did this. And that is like the best, having somebody that you can confide in, somewhere where you feel safe with another person, where you can be that open. And yeah, I have to say though, like one of the biggest things that relationship taught me was how somebody can love you unconditionally. Because I do like really that if there's one thing that I can really like say about him, was that like that blew my mind, like how somebody can love you just for who you are, and then you're just like never gonna settle for anything less, basically. So it's a lot of fun. I
Are there days where, like, you feel like, oh, I'm single? Are there days where you feel like, oh, I joined your club? Oh, it's so boring here. What do you guys do? What do you do
It's
on the weekend?
weird. It's like what?
Like what? It's the girls' night. Where am I chilling?
Like you actually realize how much of your time that person consumed.
Yes.
So CTA helped a little because I didn't literally have a life, right, for the last 10 months. But it's weird. Like there's a lot of days where you're like, I'm bored. Why don't I have a boyfriend? Or I'm hungry. Like
I could have called
can I
him.
keep my piali? But yeah, so but to me it's been a really awesome season, just because I've kind of like rediscovered myself. And it's like you get to a low point obviously after the breakup, and now it's kind of like a period of reinventing myself, of what did I love about myself that I want back, what don't I want, how do I want to act, what don't I want to do. And that's the best for me so far, so it's all good. I have to say though, I don't think it's something I want for a really long time. But yeah, can I say something?
Yeah.
I just want to say, for anybody that's literally sitting in that position where you're maybe just like not happy, I believe that as individuals we should be happy on our own. Like I don't think it's fair that I put the responsibility of being happy or making myself happy on somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think that as an individual you need to be happy. That person kind of needs to add to your happiness, in my opinion. I feel like they should add. They shouldn't be your happiness. They should add to you already being a happy person. So if you're not happy and you're hurting and there are things that you need to sort out and you're terrified, literally terrified of taking the big step and doing it, just do it. Like, you will be okay. I wish somebody told me, you can do it and you'll be okay. But yeah, so just do it. Just take the leap of faith. It will be very difficult in the beginning, and it'll be something you need to adjust to, but it'll probably be one of the best decisions you made for yourself. It was something that somebody taught me years ago. We were on this relationship youth camp thing, and the lady said that two broken people can't make a whole person. Like, I can't be broken and that person is broken and we're in a relationship together. Like, just that fact alone, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. You need to be whole as a person. Obviously, we constantly struggle with things and we constantly battling something, but you need to be whole as a person, and that person needs to be whole. And I believe that two whole people can make it work. I believe that two whole people can be good for each other, because sometimes so many things stem from your brokenness and your insecurity. Like, when I think back at it, I feel so bad for my ex-boyfriend for like the first year of our relationship, because I feel like my insecurities controlled the relationship. Because I was insecure, it led to so many unnecessary confrontations and unnecessary things that were done or said. So you need to be okay with who you are as a person, and you need to be whole in order to also not hurt that person. Because I don't believe that we should be in a relationship and hurt each other. I do think that it happens sometimes. You say something too fast and it doesn't sit well with the other person, and sometimes people get hurt, and that is true. But I also think that you should avoid that at all costs. Like, be you and be happy and be whole, and then try a relationship. That's what I'm trying.
So
yeah.
you're saying if you get trust issues, they'll come into the relationship.
Yep. If you, like, even if like literally you have trust issues from childhood or something, if you don't deal with those things in your life, it will come out in your relationship in some or other form. It might not be in an ordinary form.
Yeah.
But it will come out in some other form. If you're insecure about who you are, then you are going to go on about every single girl he talks to.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why are you being insecure? And I also think, like, the insecurity thing is a big thing. And I think people tend to ignore it, because you constantly having to reassure that person that they are enough for you is also a difficult thing, because it's tiring sometimes, and it takes so much that it's almost like I need to convince you that, like, you're worth it to me to be here, right? But that stems from an insecurity that he might have.
Yeah.
So he's like, no man, I think she deserves better. Like, why would she even be with me? And now you need to constantly reassure this person, but I chose you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be with you. And it's just like, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it for somebody that you love. We should reassure the people around us. We should make sure the people around us are loved. But at the same time, don't try to fix people.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not your job, and it's not your responsibility. Yeah, like, I just don't think, like, I'm sorry, but I don't think, like, your mother raised you so that I should fix you. Like, I don't think that's part of the relationship thing. So, but yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Are you all good?
You want to say something to the
to your fans, your subscribers? This year and a half has probably been one of the most difficult, but I'm grateful for it, because it brought me to where I am with God today, and how self-assured I feel today is because of Him. And yeah, I am here for anybody that needs a friend or advice about a relationship. I don't judge. I've done a lot. I'm not proud of all of it, but we are here to learn from each other. Amen. And we're here to grow. And it's difficult. It's difficult to come, like, literally do a video like this.
It is.
Because you don't know who's gonna hear it, and you don't want to put the other person in a bad light at the same time.
Yeah.
But I say to God, here I am, use me, and we need to be available to be a vessel to him. So I think like being saved is everything, and once you grow in that relationship with God, then literally everything else is almost like he's gonna sort it out. Like he's gonna tell you this is okay for you, this will work for you, and he's gonna guide you. And I think we do an injustice to ourselves to believe that we will be better without God, you know. And it sounds harsh, but I do think like, because I always remind myself, because sometimes you get impatient and it's difficult being single sometimes, because you're like, but I want somebody. Like I don't get it. But then I remind myself that he knows better. Like he already knows what's going to happen literally for the rest of my life. So why would I think I know better? Like I don't know. So it's all about leaving it in his hands and having faith that it'll work out.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming. I know it wasn't easy though.
It wasn't.
You know, I'm going to be bringing people up next.
It's actually so much fun.
You know, I was asking, she's like, are you actually serious? I'm like, I'm serious. I can't relate to this, you know. I need somebody that you guys can relate to. Because probably the single ones, comment in the comment section below if you want to hear my story about being single. Then we can relate. You know? But about dating and stuff, you guys can put your comment in the comment section below and she'll get back to you.
Yes.
And I'll also put her Instagram handle somewhere up here, down here, wherever. Then you can follow her Instagram, send her a DM if you need advice, if you need help. Whatever you need, questions regarding relationship, she's the right person. If you're gonna ask me, I'll be like, damn that guy, bro. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Cool. Thank you for subscribing.
She's awesome, you guys. Like, I think it's pretty cool what you're doing, and the fact that you're putting yourself on this platform, making time to make a difference in other people's lives. Stories, testimonies need to be heard. So. Let's do it. Subscribe, please. Share so people can see it.
Yeah, amen. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Goodbye.